Hey, Patricia, how are you?
I'm excellent.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining, and so excited to have this conversation.
Live.
Live.
We're live for the first time.
Exactly.
We're not like looking at a screen.
Yeah, instead of the screen and the boxes. So, and Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Vegas?
Love Vegas.
Oh, you love Vegas.
I actually love Vegas. I used to come here every year to run the Las Vegas Marathon. And
Wow.
I would bring my girlfriends here, and we had a wonderful time.
Now, out of all the people that come to Las Vegas coming to do the marathon.
Yeah, most people don't come to go run
wouldn't
a
say
marathon.
That
Yeah, that's true.
What other things do you like about Vegas? Is it the food? Is it the shows? Is it
I think
the gambling?
the food.
Okay.
The shows are incredible. Some of the artistic talent that you just see on the streets.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And it's really come a long way.
Yeah.
Coming here for decades, so yeah.
Very cool. Well, I think out of 10 people I've asked, you're probably the second that says, I love Vegas.
Oh,
so
I love it. Just the people you meet
Yeah.
from all over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fascinating.
Well, let's jump right in. And I'd love for you to start by, talking a little about yourself, your role, how, what the path looked like, because a lot of people that listen to this are students, all the way through people that are trying to figure out what's next.
Right.
So I'd love
do
to
I get
hear,
there?
a little about your path.
Which is not like any other path.
They're all
everyone's a little bit different.
Not quite conventional.
Right.
Did your parents raise you to be in HR? How did you end up where you are today? So maybe let's just start with that.
Yeah, so I kind of define myself a mother because I have a daughter who's a senior at Notre Dame.
Oh, nice.
Kind of following in my footsteps. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
And my parents just did a great job raising my brother and I, a very small family, but my dad was 38 years in the U.S. Army.
Okay.
And my brother and I followed in his footsteps. That was not my plan when I went to college.
Both of you followed in the footsteps.
Yes.
Okay.
So my brother went to the U.S. Military Academy. I went to Rutgers University, really just because I wanted a launching pad to go study abroad, and then found myself back going active duty in the Army.
Oh, wow.
So I spent 32 years in the U.S. Army,
Yep.
a profession that I love to this day, really shaped and formed who I am as a leader.
Okay.
In intelligence operations and cyber operations.
Yep.
Oh,
that's just
that's a big train.
That's
going
our
by.
train. Yeah, we just have random trains come through now and then. Yeah.
And did that for 32 years, and then did a startup with cyber when I retired. Realized I didn't really like the startup environment.
Now that's interesting.
So,
we have to come back to that.
We can come back to that. And then did leadership consulting, and then had coffee. They say never turn down coffee, right? You never know where it's going to lead you, and landed with Seagate as the chief of human resources.
Wow.
And now I call it chief of people and places because the role has expanded.
People and places.
People and places. So thinking about all the environmental health and safety, occupational health, right?
Yeah.
And then security, and then communications, culture, and all the engagement. So, yeah.
So, Seagate. I mean, we weren't going to talk a lot about Seagate, but Seagate.
And everyone should know who Seagate is. And it's amazing to me that no one knows Seagate Technology. I know you do, because you have the technical background.
Yes, but talk a little about Seagate, if you don't mind.
So we're one of really 3 manufacturers of hard disk drives. And today, it's where the world's data is stored. So probably 50% chance your data in some way, shape, or form is sitting on a Seagate drive. So for us, think about artificial intelligence and where the world is going, data becomes that gold.
Right.
And so we're kind of excited about where the world is going with storage and what is needed in storage and its capacity. So how do we do that?
Talk about the population at Seagate. Global company.
Global company. Yep. So we're located around the world. We have major manufacturing in the United States, in Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, and China.
Okay. And about how many people?
We're just sitting right about 30,000.
Okay.
So we were much larger at one point in time, way before Patricia was at Seagate. It was probably over 100,000, but yes, now we're at 30,000.
So talk about the 30,000 people compared to the startup. And
the startup was like less than 10 of us.
Right. So when you think about that, and you think about how fast, we talk about pace of change a lot, in the moment that we're living in today. How do you find the pace of change, out of 30,000 person organization versus a 10-person organization, and the pros and cons?
Yeah. So in 10, you can change very quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
5 seconds and all
the status quo is not there, and we've always done it this way. I mean, Seagate's 46 years old.
Yep.
So you have that kind of status quo of people who don't want to be disruptive. But I think we're fortunate because we're predominantly engineers, so very technical, who are trying to really break barriers in physics and math and find those innovations in technology. So you can't really be status quo.
So 46 years, like there's not a lot of, I mean, this is going to be blunt, there's not a lot of companies that make it 46 years and make it through the cycles.
Which we had a really disruptive one
that
a few years ago.
Right,
yes.
right, that you have.
We probably shouldn't be here right now, but we made it.
Right. So there's resilience as part of that. There's adaptability as part of that. So not talking as much about your products, but talking about the people and where the world is headed today with artificial intelligence. You know, as a leader, how are you pushing people? Or I shouldn't say pushing. That's probably leading the witness. Are people pushing you? Are you pushing people?
I'm probably pushing people at a faster rate than maybe people are comfortable.
Okay.
But my philosophy is leave no one behind. Maybe that came a little bit from my military of you leave no soldier on the battlefield. But now in corporate, I say we're not going to leave anyone behind. So part of that is a year ago, we were on an education journey, kind of making everyone AI aware. What is it? Do basic training. And then what I realized is we only gave tools to little pilot groups.
Yep.
And I was getting really excited, and I would tell people, and it saved me hours here, or it did this for me. And they would look at me and kind of deer in the headlights. And I realized, you're not operating on the same systems with the same tools that I'm operating on. So that's a problem. So you have to democratize with also where you put the tools.
Yep.
Right? So everyone has the same advantage. So this year, we're doing that across in my team and in other functions where everyone's going to have the same set.
Okay.
We're going to put everyone on the same journey of learning. Do I think we may have a few people that we refuse to change? Probably. That will be a different discussion that I'll have with them at the end of the year, right? But for the majority, I think being able to have those collaborative sessions, explaining the why, and really putting people at the center, I think will lower that anxiety, is what I'm hoping, and that people can redefine the role. I want everyone to redefine. I don't want it top-down driven. I want every employee, redefine your role.
So this is what's fascinating because
they redefine their role.
People say to me, HR needs to redefine people's roles.
No. I can't sit there and at a P1 engineer. I need them to look at their role differently. And let's have that feedback in both directions.
Yep.
Right? Look at that at AI as that thought partner, especially if you're a junior employee, your onboarding can go so much faster, right? But then what does that role look like if you're able to be more efficient in that first year or two? You still need experiences.
Oh, for sure.
Experiences are so important.
Yeah.
But I think I look at this as if you look at engagement, if you want to have well-being of your workforce and fulfillment, because you want everyone to feel fulfilled at work.
Yep.
Your biggest driver is middle management. Right?
Interesting.
It's how do the managers help us lead? Because I can only touch so many people from way up here.
Yep.
How are the managers actually having and leading in this environment? Because managers make or break teams.
Right. So when you think about this, so let's break that down for a second. So I love how you talked about not everyone had the same tools and how you pushed for that. There's a lot of organizations struggling between a leader like yourself and people in places, CHRO, and CIO.
Right.
And how do those two determine?
This is one of my favorite topics.
Yeah. Like how do I say it? How do we determine who leads? Because is it the people?
It's a simple answer for me. CHROs own employee experience. We own it. And we're only the ones that are going to look at it from that lens. I wish everyone did, but I know they don't.
Yep.
But I would tell every HR professional, your number one job is you own employee experience. And at the end of the day, how do employees come energized to work, even in a disruptive environment?
By having the tools.
They have to have the right tools, but we have to be center stage and we have to lead this discussion because it will impact culture.
Yep.
It will impact the outcomes of rolling different AI solutions out.
So when your CIO says not everyone's ready, or your CIO says
and then we have to sit down and have that discussion.
I mean, you've had that. I mean,
we had that discussion. I said,
okay.
I will give up a U.S. headcount because they're my most expensive, right? To take those salary dollars, which are every year, to put it into software licenses. Because I have to have that equal playing field for everyone. And I said, let me try it.
Yep.
I'm piloting that for a year. And let me see how quick. And it's not really, I hate the word adoption. I want everyone's behaviors to change.
Yep.
They kind of mentioned it this morning, James Patterson did about atomic habits.
Yep.
It truly is that when you open your laptop, what is the first thing you do? Is the first screen you open is not the typical Seagate homepage? Is it Copilot or whatever tool you're using, right? Is that what's helping be that thought partner for you?
Yep.
Going forward. That's just at the individual level.
Right.
So to me, I think a lot of companies are struggling. There's individual habits we need to change.
Yep.
How do I feel that I have more time? Because to me, that's hard to measure. But if someone looked at the metrics and said, well, they didn't really save time in that project.
Right.
But I walked away going, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That's more important to me than what the number said. I don't care what the number said, right?
Yeah.
But then it's the real power, I think, of AI, which we're not there yet.
Right.
Is how do you look at it functionally, but really how does it go horizontally across the enterprise?
Yeah, and I like how you said, I mean, I'm not I hate adoption, that term. I talk about embodiment and whether that's the right term or not, but how do you embody, an AI first culture, or how do you embody working in a different kind of way? The thing that is interesting to me about what you said about employee experience is that I struggle that more people don't take that approach. A, and then B, what you said about, hey, I'd give up a head count.
Right.
And I've heard you say this before, like, I may give up a head count to have these capabilities, or prove to me that I need a human instead of a machine. Now,
we have to own as HR the human plus machine or software experience. I believe that we are going to have to be listening. What is that experience? What are our employees feeling? Where is it? It could be failing in certain areas. Not everything is going to be, and that's okay. But we need to own that and then come back partnering with IT. IT has to be right beside us and say, that solution didn't work.
So
why didn't it work?
Yeah. So
because at the end of the day, our employees are customers. Sometimes we forget to look at that. I think sometimes we look at them as users.
Yes.
So as a chief of people, I say employees are our customers.
Yeah, they're humans.
They're
also,
humans.
Not users.
We want them to be engaged.
Yep.
We want them to feel productive. How best can we do that? How best can we serve them? And then we have to be looking at all of our different business units and functions and say, what is happening? And what's happening at the tactical level? Because the tactical will build and get that momentum going.
So I hear this, and I have no idea how you're going to react, so it'll be interesting. But people will say that giving up a head count for software is inhumane.
What? It's your CFO would not say that. Your
CFO
would say that's a good OpEx.
But as we get into this human machine teaming,
But you have to decide, like, I'm very stringent on, OpEx spend. Mm-hmm. And I have to be a steward of our company's resources. So it's to say, okay, well, I'm willing this year to say, I'll give up that salary to go do this, and let's see exponentially what the outcome, the results are.
Right.
And if I have more energized employees who feel part of the journey, I need them to feel that they're part of this journey and defining it for the company. Because at the end of the day, our organizations, in a year, 2, 3 years from now, people and agents.
Right.
It's happening, whether we like it or not. So HR, how are you going to lead now an organization? And then we have to see deep enough to see where that friction isn't working.
Yep.
Why isn't it working?
So along those lines, are you being forthright with people saying jobs are going to change? Your jobs have already changed. Your job may be eliminated.
Your job's going to be redefined.
Redefined.
And they can opt out. I mean, I'm not telling anyone you have to stay. The company, every company I think is going to have to reinvent themselves in some way. Mm-hmm. And so it's how do you redefine that role with the advent of technology? So it's happened at every element of when computers first came into the workforce, right?
So I want to tie that into the leave no one behind.
Yeah, redefine your role.
Right. So how do you help? Is that so? People will say, "Is that HR's job?"
I think it's going to be every manager's job.
Okay.
I can't do this.
Right.
HR can't. My HR team is very small, so HR can't do this on their own. So how do managers?
And it shouldn't.
They shouldn't be. The business has to own this.
Yeah.
How do managers? And we have to give them the right tools. And how do you have these discussions? How do managers redefine their team? I always hear, and I think every chief of people hears this. I don't have enough people. I don't have enough time. Well, if you're embracing some of these solutions, then how do you redefine that role? And some people, I absolutely know this, will say, well, I don't want that role. That's a different discussion because we're heading in that direction.
So,
right?
so let's talk about that. So the role of HR going forward, the personnel, I hate to go back to that, but
I think there'll be CHROs who, if they don't move forward quickly and be center of this discussion, they're just relegating their voice to someone else, right? Like we have to be center. And I go back to employee experience. Yep. We own it.
Yep.
So be center of the strategy of people plus technology.
So I get feedback all the time from people listening to this or after I speak that will come up to me and they'll say, my leader doesn't get it. Like, we want to do this. We know this is the way to go. We know this is the right way to think, but my leader doesn't get it. And I always question, I'm like, really they don't get it? Or you just don't think they get it?
Are they asking the right questions?
Well, yeah, and they're like, well, you know what? They only have 3 years till they're going to retire. So they don't want to rock the cart. They just want to spend their next 3 years. And I always struggle. I mean, I'd love your advice on this because I struggle with this.
I think for a team that might have that type of leader, come with the business case, with the outcome you're trying to achieve, the why, and make it a very strong why.
Yep.
I think those will get leaders moving who may be reluctant to embrace the technology. I think what's fortunate for us is we're a manufacturing company. Mm-hmm. So in our operations in the factories, they've been doing AI and machine learning for a long time.
Yep.
And then now they're embracing the Gen AI piece of it, and they're moving out faster than our business units.
Okay.
It's not scary to them.
Right.
And they're excited because it's saving them time. It's actually finding anomalies that they couldn't see as the human, which makes our product and quality better.
Yep.
So they're on a faster track just based on the culture that exists in the factory.
Right.
And then as those people can then look at other more difficult problems like, well, why are we seeing those results? Right? What is that? Or spend more time on what are the customer issues?
Yep.
With a product, right? So I think that's important.
Yep.
I worry about when you get into the sales, right? The finance, legal, HR, like I have to pull those groups along more.
Yep.
And I think we won't see the exponential positive outcomes until we're actually using Gen AI horizontally, not vertically.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And you and I first met at a skills event.
Yes.
And skills, someone was asking me yesterday about buzzwords and things like that. And some could say skills is a buzzword. Mm-hmm. I don't think the concept is a buzzword, but the word might be a buzzword.
Right.
But I'd love your take on the capabilities of a human needed going forward versus today. So these people who are going to shepherd these changes or help us forward, what do they need? Like, what do they need that maybe they didn't have in the past?
I think it really starts with mindset and knowing that we are going to be in a continuous change, right? Adoption, because I think AI is just going to keep evolving. And so it's just not one and done. Like usually you do digital transformation project. It's okay, we did it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we revert back to the past and it didn't make the change we wanted. But I think now the change management is really more of that continuous change outcomes.
Yep.
And are we evolving? And it goes back to what are the needs of the workforce?
Right.
So you have to go back to the business case of how do we make that more efficient?
Is it easy for you to measure mindset?
Oh, it's very difficult to measure mindset, but I think you do that and you can do it in surveys. I do it from just traveling and really talking to people, get into small group sessions. What are those pain points? What's the friction? What are we not solving for? So we have been through our downturn and now through our upturn, thank God, we have been having a slew of connect sessions, just constantly doing small groups, what's happening, how can we improve your, not only just the employee experience of the tools they work with, but the facility, where they come to work.
Yep.
How do we make that just a better experience overall? But there's finite dollars, so what will we do this year? What do we prioritize next year? And I think my choice of giving up a head count was I can't wait. So if you're telling me I've got to find, because I have to go find and wait for the next budget cycle to go find those dollars, I'm not waiting for the next budget cycle. So I made a conscious decision to say, I can find the dollars right now and solve that problem.
So I want to push on that for a second, because one of the things that scares me, and I'm not throwing shade at COVID, but COVID made us all respond.
Correct.
It made us all respond. What that response looked like, I was, as we were talking earlier, we maybe didn't know what we were doing.
I don't think we didn't know what we were doing at first.
In retrospect, we maybe didn't respond.
Right.
Maybe we wouldn't have responded the same way, but we had to respond.
Right.
You just said, I can't wait, which means, I have to respond. Like, that's not the norm right now. The norm.
I think, some people are probably waiting, right?
Right, they're waiting. Let's see how this plays out, and let's see if the ice breaks, and let's see if I walk this way, what happens, and if I walk this way, what happens. So what drives you to say, I can't wait?
Probably because I was just experimenting with the tools on my personal laptop and just found it exciting, and I saw opportunity as using AI as a strategic thought partner, just having me think differently, giving me ideas that then would spawn other, creative.
Other people that you're like, oh my gosh, Patricia, just stop talking.
And I did. My team would look at me and go, oh, here she goes again. She's talking about what she learned on AI today. But that's when I realized, I said, there's going to be an individual growth in this, but you need that first to get to probably the more enterprise, the functional enterprise growth. And to me, I couldn't wait because I wanted everyone to be able to have the same conversation, to be able to have to democratize kind of that discussion. And remember, we have a lot of different languages spoken at Seagate, so English is our primary, but to allow people to feel on equal with just being able to exchange ideas, AI gives them such an advantage now.
So without...
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't see how anyone, but this is just me, cannot be not excited about it. The thing that I get concerned about is that we oftentimes see like studies or headlines that 95% of AI projects are failing. So maybe we're going the wrong place, or AI is overhyped, or AI caused someone to get their airline ticket at a price that it was the wrong price. So we immediately start like, this is just, everyone's overhyping it and things like that. So are you starting to see impact? I was going to say tangible results, but impact of your people working different, showing up different, thinking different. Are you starting to see that? I
am. So we set up, once we gave everyone the licenses, now we do every other Friday, we do collaboration sessions. You could say AI in the morning, have morning tea and coffee with AI, and we bring regionally the different groups together and say, okay, today we're focusing, it could be on AI in PowerPoint or AI in Excel. It's really about the individual level and then what they need to use it for. what worked, what didn't work, what prompts worked, and just having that shared library. And you're seeing people interact in a way that they hadn't interacted before.
Okay.
And even, I'm considered old, oh, well, Patricia had an idea, but then also this most junior person had a great idea. And just that collaboration that you might not have in more traditional meetings.
Yep.
So creating that collaboration space. And then what we're going to do then the second half of the year is really talk about jobs.
Okay.
So I'm giving them the first half of the year to look at using it for them as an individual.
Right.
Where do they find time savings where they can dedicate other energy?
Yep.
Have time to think.
Right.
Like if I can free up time for everyone to think,
Yeah.
that, to me, I don't know how you measure that. Like just, it's a feeling you have. I have time to think.
Yep.
And then the second half is, okay, now that you've seen that and you've touched it, how do we think about our jobs going forward?
Okay.
How do we approach work differently? And I have to still stop myself. As soon as I open my laptop and I open Outlook and I start to go email by email,
Yep.
and I have to stop and go, why am I doing that?
Right.
AI, summarize all this for me.
Yep.
I get off a plane. Just summarize it. What's urgent?
Yep.
What do I need to tackle? What are the themes that are coming through?
So you mentioned senior leaders like yourself, and then you mentioned junior associates, per se. To drive this change,
I need the middle.
well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that
I
when
need
you
the middle.
Yeah, when you think about that, and you hear, like, excuse me, I shouldn't say you hear. We see studies that people graduating from college, and we can go back to your daughter if you would like, are having a hard time finding jobs, or we're seeing people that are taking alternative paths and not even going to college the way they did before and entering the workforce, at 19, which maybe not as socially advanced, but maybe they have the AI mindset already to do that. So I'd love your thoughts just on where you see that heading.
Yeah, I think in most professions, there's still some tradecraft that you learn academically, right?
sure.
And whether that's through experience or in
Through a
university.
4-year school, through a trade school.
I mean, engineering or some of those others are a little bit different, where you literally need to go to chemistry, go to physics,
Yep.
right, to learn your trade craft. But I think we have to really embrace the intern and the new college graduates, but you're going to onboard them differently. So how do they
Interesting.
learn? And that's what I'm grappling with. If you ask me what I look at where we need to solve for our future is you onboard them differently. So I could sit in a session, I could have 2 engineers sitting side by side talking about some of the most hardest challenge problems that they have. And a new college grad could come in and listen to that. So they're learning differently. They'd be developed differently.
So we're not just giving them the grunt work. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. We're not just giving them the grunt
Right.
work.
It's just how do they hear very middle to senior people talking about the challenges? They might bring a different approach to solving that.
Yep.
But their onboarding should look different. It
That's
won't be
really-
like I come in and I'm going to shadow someone and I'm going to do A, B, C, D. I think we have tools now. We need to think about onboarding completely differently. That might actually speed up their knowledge of the company processes. Why do we do things the way we do them, right? We don't have that library yet.
I love
We don't
that.
have that library yet.
I
It's
love
not
that.
built.
It's like one of my, it's one of my big unlocks of today, of this conference. This whole conference is what you just said. Because I think too many people think of that onboarding as a process.
Oh, it's an experience.
No, right. It's an experience. And it has to change.
It has to change.
And I think that one of the reasons that college hires are down is because people are like, well, the grunt work's been replaced by AI. And that's true.
Right.
So, of
But
course,
they have to have the experience to then become that
Yes.
more.
So bringing them in.
So you have to bring them in differently. You're going to train them differently. One of the biggest problems we have is where is the data sitting? Because we've all grown up in companies where a lot is siloed,
Yep.
even in HR. A lot of people have things still on their laptop or in their personal OneDrive.
Yep.
Well, I think that's my biggest concern going forward right now is you get into the echo chamber of yourself.
Yep.
Because we don't have the right data architecture
Yep.
where you can see the other inputs. So I think that's a little bit of what I'm concerned about going forward is that architecture is sound.
Yep. Well, and I think AI can help individualize that onboarding process in ways that we couldn't scale it before, which kind of where I wanted to go with our skills conversation is just kind of like where do you see skills fitting today? Like when you look at skills, like
we're gonna evolve, and I think this is why I go back down to individually, how do we redefine what that is? Because and not to offend anyone that's here as a vendor, I don't know that anyone can give me a list of skills of what they think they are.
Yes.
We don't know.
Yep.
So we need to redefine that.
Yep.
Going forward.
Yeah. Well, so like when you hear people talk about reskilling, upskilling, you have to be spending now on reskilling, upskilling, et cetera.
I'm a firm believer in upskilling. It's reskilling, upskilling.
Yep.
I always said that from my military is, I went to combat with the team I had, not the team I wanted.
Right.
So I better know everyone's skill set within that team, everyone's strengths. I know people don't like to say weaknesses, but gaps. So I could actually form the right squads to be successful.
Right.
I can't just fly in an expert and say, oh, come form out, So when I look at it in a company setting, do our managers know their teams well enough? I go back to that. That manager is such the driving lever of change, right? They're so significant. How well does the manager know their team and the strengths and the gaps of their team that we can sit down and say, well, what is that development? What is that learning we need to do in the future to strengthen?
And without getting too deep into this, like, do you think that the technology is there today to help people with skills? And this is, once again, we're not talking about any one vendor or anything like that, but just like we've been using these tools as transactional data stores,
right?
Basically to store, I've said it millions of times, LinkedIn knows more about our people than we do. So, hey, what if we just knew about our people? And then we went through this exercise to know about our people and we matched them to the skills library, but then we still didn't do anything.
Right.
And that's
match them to a skills library, but then I think managers have a tough time defining. How many times have you sat down with a manager and say, well, what is it that you need? And they can't define it.
Right.
I'll know it when I see it.
So what good is all of that? So I'd love your thoughts on that.
So I think the matching, I think when you can go into a software solution and you can say, I'm working on this project.
Yep.
These are the type of skills I think I need. Or if you just can define the project with good intent, like, here's my intent of this project.
Yep.
This is the end state I'm trying to achieve. These are some of the tasks, right? And then let people source into it that are passionate about that. You actually need a solution that the whole workforce can see to say, hey, team, I'm launching this project. And then managers have to be willing to give up people to go work on things they're very passionate about.
It's not an HR black box.
It's not, no. We're very transparent. Just put it out there. We use Gloat, but I know there's many. But put the project out there, source it from within first, and then if you still have a gap, then come to me and say you need an external resource.
Instead of just opening a rec.
Yeah, but not until you've sourced it internally.
I love that.
But you have to have managers willing to give people up for a period of time. But what I tell them is if you do not release them to go do that project, they may be walking out the door anyway.
And they probably will. I mean, yes.
So release them because they might find something they're really passionate about, another opportunity in the company, and let's find a way for them to do that full time.
Yep. Yeah. No, I love that.
I think that's really important. I'm always about the people we've brought in. Hopefully you've done good hiring and they're good cultural fit.
Yep.
Once they've learned our processes and our culture, keep them.
Yeah.
But upskill them.
So I want to close, which is not going to be a quick close, but I want to tie this back to something you mentioned your daughter.
My pride and joy.
Yes. And you mentioned, hey, she's senior.
She's a senior. Yes.
Notre Dame. Go
Irish. Yep, I have to say that.
Go Irish. How's she feeling right now?
She's actually, because she knew me when I was a cybersecurity professional, intelligence professional, and I had everything in lockdown in our house. She is very nervous about AI, so I'm trying to get her to be more comfortable.
Nervous?
Yeah, she's just worried about putting herself out there and what could people see of her.
Okay.
Because she's pretty locked down on it. She's not a big social media person, probably from years of living under me of not doing that. So trying to get her to understand that this is that partner.
Okay.
And I don't know, and I have not gotten involved in the university politics of how are they looking at AI. I do think this is just a great partnership that companies could have, not just with academia, at every level. Companies could sponsor their local,
Yes.
elementary, high school. Big companies could sponsor with universities, sponsor with government, state and federal. This is what we're learning. Then how do we have this environment of human and machine?
Mm-hmm.
And let's bring success and failures and share that conversation.
Yep.
I think that would probably help universities a great deal, and high schools especially, of how to approach it.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. So in her studies, I don't know what she's
mathematics, yes. So she does data analytics, mathematics. She has some long.
Does she have the empath gene to be in HR?
Yeah, she does.
Okay.
She does.
So I think
but she's going in the Army first, so she's going to go serve, which I think is wonderful, and I think I don't know that she'll go into HR, but yeah, she'll go serve and find her way.
So are you tied back to that? Are you doing anything at Seagate to make sure that you're not stopping those college hires?
No, we're flipping it because we are a very tenured company. So we have a large portion of our workforce that sits at a higher age group. Not that I'm targeting them,
right?
But you need to bring in the interns and new college grads.
Because otherwise we're just going to collapse.
Trade.
Yeah.
And how do you start doing knowledge transfer? So right now I'm really focused on how do I take that technologist and the legacy that they're going to impart and capture that knowledge in ways that could be captured much differently than before of typing, a long Word document that no one ever reads, right? What is that more engaged knowledge transfer that we can have, because everyone learns a little bit differently today, and have all these different mediums, right, to do that transfer. And I think for us as an older company, that knowledge transfer to me, and just telling everyone, this is your legacy. Like, your legacy, you should feel that that's important. And how do you transfer that knowledge to the next generation?
So head of people and places, 2025, moving into 2026. Excited, scared, curious?
I'm probably on the very excited to see how my team reacts to having these tools in front of them and embody the tools. Like you said, it's not adoption. It's how do you embody a different way of working? And then I would love to sit down with you probably, spring of next year and say, what are we changing?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think that is the danger. Like, that's the danger zone, is that we don't change anything. That
we have to change.
We have exponential capability, but we take incremental action.
Right.
And I think that's probably the biggest danger for all of us right now. I think it's more dangerous than the security part, to be honest with you.
But I think, and you actually wrote something and it resonated with me. You talked about the last mile. Mm-hmm. In the military, we talk about the last 100 yards.
Okay.
Because in that last mile, the last 100 yards, it is about the human. And as you said, AI can develop a great strategy. AI can marketing campaign. But if no one delivers it with passion and embodies it, it's a piece of paper. It lays flat. It's some marketing poster or post, right?
Yeah.
That sits out in the virtual world. It takes a human to really embrace that. And you're always going to have, human friction and failures and successes, and it's going to take that human element.
Yeah, for sure.
To come in, build the trust. AI is not going to build your culture. AI is not going to build trust, right? It's not going to provide empathy. So that's on all of us to have, what is this relationship going forward? And that's why I want every CHRO to say, I'm front and center on that discussion. And I'm not the most technical person in this field. I mean, I learn from my daughter every day of some new app, right?
Right.
Just be curious, keep learning, keep adapting, and then just listen to your employees and what are they struggling with.
Yeah. I love that. Magical, magical, magical. I think that there's such an opportunity in front of us all. I'm so excited to watch you and watch Seagate on this journey. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
It's wonderful to see you.
And excited to continue the conversation.
Yeah. All
Take
right.
care.
Thanks.
Thanks.